So, all right. Okay, so we're recording now, and for those of you that are just joining, I just noticed that about 5 people joined. Um, yeah, so basically what we are covering is Jetbrain Space, right? Jetbrain Space is, from the description, a complete software development platform. If you have any experience with, other integrated platforms like Jira or Asana, or maybe platforms like ClickUp, and also something like Monday.com. These are other platforms that can be alternatives to JetBrain Space. But JetBrain Space, in my opinion, has more to offer, right? So this is a tool that we've been using for, I would say, definitely more than 6 months, probably going to a year already, as an internal tool, for software development within our organization, right? So this is something we've also introduced to some of our partners, and their development teams are also enjoying this tool. And the fact that it has a bunch of integrations and also very flexible, very robust, right? And in terms of usability, I would say that looking at the fact that it can accept hundreds of participants or project members at a time for free. I don't know. I mean, I definitely am sure that it's a sales strategy, but at the same time, I think it is needed for platforms providing same stuff that we're providing. I mean, we are currently working on a project. We have if we already have like probably more than 100 participants on that project, and yeah, from what we've seen, it's the only platform that best suits our need. Okay, other platforms are expensive, very expensive. As a matter of fact, when I mean expensive, I'm looking at the fact that you cannot have more than 10 members on some other platforms without payments, and of course you have to pay for every single user, right? Maybe about $6 or $10. Imagine paying $10 for 100 people. Just for the purpose of the project. So I think, JetBrain Space is one of the best tools for this kind of, use case, in my opinion. All right, so let's proceed. Let's see what we have to, cover. But I think I would also recommend that you download this tool on your laptop, or you probably use it on the web, right? I think, yeah, it's a good idea if you download this or use it on the web. And of course, you can just visit the website. I'm going to zoom in so you see this better. I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is jetbrains.com/space. All right. Okay. Okay, so all you have to do is, of course, click on try for free, right? Or you can, download. You can download the. Okay, this is on premises, so you can download the desktop version. I'm sure you can download it if you have the JetBrains toolbox, or I can just search for JetBrains space download. That will probably take me to the desktop app download. And of course, I already shared the link to download this tool on Android and also on Play Store. Okay, and also on, I think, iOS Store, right? Yeah, on the iOS Store. So just in case, I think it's a good idea to have it on mobile so that you can also, just see what is going on there, check out the activities without having to sign in on desktop some of the time. But when you're working and you really want to focus on the work, I would advise you keep your phone and have your space opened up on the web. Yeah, we've also sent you invites. We've sent you invites, so I believe that most of you are already in the space as members. So by tomorrow, I'm sure you would get a clear picture of what you'll be asked to do, or what task would be assigned to you. Yeah. All right. So looking at the tool, you see JetBrain Space can be used for Git hosting, and of course for the developers, this is a feature that you would definitely use. Currently, we are doing what we call uh, mirroring, right? So instead of hosting within JetBrain space, we have to mirror the GitHub repository. So we have that GitHub repository showing up in JetBrain space. You can, perform code reviews. You can actually see what the project looks like. Check out the code, check out the files, right, and the directories. Even work on the repository directly through space if you have a tool like JetBrains fleet, right? And I'm sure, yeah, it has a bunch of integrations if you're using other JetBrains too. Of course, I personally use JetBrains IDEs, and I would say that the integration is pretty smooth. So that is it for Git hosting. We also have code reviews. I've mentioned that already. So I'll be reviewing some of the codes, from the backend and the front-end guys alongside Emanuela. We'll be reviewing those codes, directly in JetBrains space. Of course, we also have CI/CD pipelines. And yeah, basically this is for continuous integration and continuous deployment. JetBrains space can also be used for package management. Yeah, it has some IDE plugins, which means you can actually integrate space into other JetBrains tools. Yeah, and of course you can store your documents. You can create documents. You can actually store multiple files. It can serve for issue tracking. You can use it to communicate with your teammates, right? It has a chat feature. Of course, you can also, bring in a guest user just to see the activities and whatever it is you have to present or show. And you can use it to manage multiple teams as well. So, yeah, and I think this set of features are really outstanding, right? So you go ahead and download the JetBrains desktop app, or you can also download the mobile applications. I'm sharing this with you in the chat, so just check out the Zoom chat, and of course, you can pick up the link from there. Yeah. All right, so let's take this off for now, and I would move into JetBrains space. Okay, so on your desktop, you'll probably see an environment that looks like this. Basically, you might not have all these features, right? Of course, I am an admin, right? I am an admin here, so you will definitely not see every single one of these features. I think I have a chat. Let's see. Probably someone sent me a message. Okay, so I think this message is. Oh yeah, so this message is from Daniel. I also have a notification here from JetBrains Space. Yeah, probably showcasing some of the new features. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I'll just move back here to the homepage. So let's see. I'm just going to come down to my profile. I'm trying to show you. So basically, this is just our own page, right? Top Universe end-to-end micro-learning network for the future of work. Sorry. So I have like the favorite projects listed right here. Yeah, we can also have like recent blogs, so you can write some articles in here for your members. I will show you how that is done, and yeah, we also have code reviews. So what I want you to understand first is if you create a workspace, the amount of settings and configuration is definitely going to be different from what you would see if you are a member on that workspace, right? So you can create a workspace. You can create multiple workspaces. We're currently signed into the Top Universe workspace, and the invites that you have received, are also connected to this workspace, right? So when you join this workspace, I should be able to see you in the members list. We're not going to open that for now, but basically this is my personal dashboard, right? And then this is my profile. That is the second thing you see right here. So this is my profile. We can also navigate to documents, right? These are some of the previous documents we've shared here during the previous project. So I'm simply going to show you what you can do, right? So you can create a new document by simply clicking on new. You can create a checklist, you can create a file, you can create a text document, you can create a blog post, and you can also create a folder. So let's go ahead and check out this set of features one at a time. All right. So the first thing here is a checklist. And what I'll be showing you here are some of the important items, right? So the document I'm creating here is tied to my profile. Now, remember, I am creating this under my personal profile. This is not tied to a specific project, and we'll get to that part where we'll talk about projects. So for now, I just created, I have to go back. I think I mistakenly clicked on that. All right, so I have to go back to documents. I have to click on new checklist. All right, so a checklist, and let's just say a simple sample checklist. All right, so a checklist is basically a document that you can use to, mark your performance, or probably, it gives you like this to do field. So I can say, let's assume I want to create a checklist for the day, right? I wake up in the morning and I want to create a checklist for the day. Let's assume I was assigned a task to work on the or create a landing page for a new agency. So I can say gather, let's see, gather information about the prospects. Okay. All right. Okay, so I have some checklists. So, I have some checklists right now, and I would say someone is saying we're unable to click on the invite link. Can you please drop the link? Yeah, so I said if you are unable to click on the invite link, that's why you should try as much as possible to check the messages that was sent to you. If you're unable to click on the invite link, open that email on your laptop, right? It's probably a problem coming from Google. Probably on your phone. If you still have the same error on your laptop, I think you can actually move it into the right folder. Maybe it's in the wrong folder and Google might have marked that email as, I think promotions, right? But I'm very sure that, I mean, the entire invite, I sent out the invites, all at once. So I believe that if others were able to use their link, you should be able to use your link as well. Just probably try to use that link from a browser. And I think you should do that really fast. Okay, I think there's a timeline before that link would expire. All right, so let me proceed. Okay, so I have a checklist, and I can mark this checklist as a favorite document. So this would show up right here. If you don't want to do that, then let's take it off. We don't want it to show up there. What I do most times is I definitely would go ahead to mark this as a favorite checklist, because it is something I want to see on my profile. At least for the day, right, before I take it off. Yeah, so you can start working on these items, one after the other. When I'm done, I can basically, just check this, right, to show that I've finished up with this task. So it's kind of like a personal to-do. You can move this, from one step to the other. You can actually make it a sub of a different to-do item, right? So you have this item in here. Let's push it back here. Okay, you can of course edit this. You can also delete it when you're done. So this is what a checklist is basically, right? And the next type of document, let's just come back to my documents. All right. So the next type of documents you can see here is a file, and basically this is what you would probably import into, let's say, into Jetbrain. So I'm going to create a sample file. I don't think I have any. Let's check out my downloads. I'm going to bring in a sample. All right, let's import that PDF file. Okay, so I'm importing a PDF file currently. Yeah, so I mean, I expected this. This file is a bit heavy. I think probably more than 20 or 30 megabytes. Definitely more than that. Okay, so all right. So I think we have this file. This file just finished uploading. Um, so I should be able to see this file. Okay, so yeah, so we have the file here. It's a PDF file, and I don't know if I would be able to preview this because it's taking. Okay, so I think this file was also compressed, which is nice. So this file is 5.2 megabytes, and then we also added this image, and yeah, so I just clicked on that image, and this is what we have. All right, so let's just come back to the home page section. And yeah, so that's how you create a checklist and a file. A file is basically something that you are going to import, right? You're going to import that into the environment here, probably because you want to share that with your teammates, okay? I will show you how to import a file inside a project. Okay, so the next one is a text document. So you can create an empty text document, and you have this section where you can, work on that document. So I can say a simple project PRD. All right. So within the PRD, of course, I can have about the project and features. All right. So yeah. So of course, you can actually even format this. We have bold, italize. We have headings. If you want to add those headings, you have block quotes. So let's take this off. You have the bullets if you want to work with bullets. So we can say product features, about projects, deliverables, timeline. Okay, all right. So this is just a simple document, and of course you can import your pictures. You can add a table. You can also add your emoji. So something is saying even text. I don't think I understand that, except you are trying to talk about if it has like rich text, if that's what you mean. Yeah, so, and yeah, we can also use this for Markdown if you know how to use Markdown. For developers trying to work on documentations, you can definitely do that in here. You don't need a different tool for that. And yeah, and I'm sure you understand what I mean, because if you have any experience writing Markdowns, then definitely you know some of these, setting up links and also adding code blocks, right? Yeah, so this is very good for Markdown. All right, so let's bring this back to rich text formats. And yeah, so I think the next thing we are going to look at right now is this saves automatically, by the way. This is saved automatically. I think there are some people in the waiting room. Okay, so this is saved automatically. Let's go back to my documents. And yeah, you see we also have the blog post draft. So basically, if we're working as a team, I can choose to write a blog post and share on the blog. So basically, Jetbrain Space have a blog section. It's kind of like an internal blogging tool, right? You want your teams to be able to see
I'll call
that
you with
blog
my
post.
MTN.
Probably the blog is
Doing
related
MTN
to
and this one I do
projects you're
network. I'll
working
call
on,
you
right?
later.
Or maybe related to, well, I would say maybe related to the organization itself at large. Yeah? So yeah, you might want to use this tool for that. I'm not going to write a sample blog. I don't think that's necessary. Then you can also create a new folder and have organize this set of items, right? So I can say assets. So within
Yes,
the folder,
how are
I
you?
can definitely, organize
Hello, ma. How are you, ma?
my files, right? So I can definitely organize my files. I doubt if I can just drag. I think I have to move, okay? And I can move it into project assets. All right, so let's see, move.
Gbajúmọ̀ training.
Documents already located in the, okay, so I have to probably drag this, let's see. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think document is already located in the selected folder. Please choose a different one. Oh, okay, okay. So probably, the drag and drop worked. Let me try another one. So I think it worked, but probably because of, the network, it took some time because it was still showing up on the other list. So I think that was the network thing, right? So the drag and drop feature is working. So someone is saying, please mute Taiwo. Yeah, so when you join this call, please ensure you are muted. Okay, ensure you mute yourself. Also ensure you turn off your video or I will kick you out of the call. All right, so yeah, so that is for documents, and the next thing we're going to be looking at, let's take off this checklist from my favorite. Yeah, all right, so let's turn that off. We also have the calendar feature. You can basically set up your calendar for the day, for the week, for the month. You can set up your calendar so that your teammates or your co-workers will understand your schedule. Yeah, you definitely need a calendar, especially when you're in a real working environment. You want your teammates to be able to understand your schedule, at least for the day or maybe for the week, so that they can book other meetings with you to ensure that their personal or their meetings don't clash with yours. Okay. We also have code reviews, dev environment. We'll talk about this shortly. But looking at your personal profile, of course, you can use the configuration session to also set or customize your profile. You can click on my profile and probably edit your profile details as well. Yeah, if you want to, you can definitely do that. Okay, so as an admin, I can create multiple items here. I can create an invitation. I can create an issue. An issue is basically tied to a project. An issue for those of you in the PM track, of course, you understand some of these things because I believe you've done Agile. I think the UI UX folks also did Agile. So unfortunately, we did not really set up a training on Agile for the engineers, but as we work on this project, you would get to understand what Agile work look like, right? Or what being in an Agile team or working on an Agile project. So yeah, let's proceed for now. I already have a project set up, right? But if you want to create a new project, this is what you have to click on. If you want to set up a new team, this is what you have to click on. We already have if I click on teams, you can see we already have core 2, right? Core 2.0. Let's leave that for now. I'm simply going to jump into the cohort 2.0 right here. Okay. All right. So we've added most of you as members on the workspace, but we've not added you as members on the project. So you can see we are here to add you as members on the project. But basically, once you become a member on the project, all right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so please try to mute yourself when you join a call, right? And for that person that I think I noticed the person just left the call. Okay, that's fine. I don't think I would let you back in. Let's see. All right, so I told you to mute yourself. Okay. So for that reason, I think I just moved that person to the waiting room. So mute yourself when you're on a call, right? I intentionally reduce the volume on my laptop so that it doesn't distract the call. Unfortunately, maybe I would have left it on so I can hear that noise. So I would have, at least I would have heard that noise on time. Okay, so I'm really sorry about that. All right, so let's proceed. So I am currently on the Core 2.0 project. Of course, the project we've not, given the project a name. That is why we just have this tag Core 2.0. You can also see that this project is marked as a favorite project, right? Yeah, and of course, on this dashboard, we have like the team and the team members. We have the issues. The issues here, we're also going to get to that shortly. I'm going to explain what we have here, then you would understand the main of issues and code reviews. So yeah, let's kick off from the first one, documents. Again, right now, these are the project documents. So for example, your PROD, your FROD, your MROD, if you have this set of documents are coming in here, right? The product requirement document, the functional requirement document, these are different documents that we work with, right? When working on a digital product. So you would want to put those documents in here because you don't want your developers or your designers coming to you back and forth to ask for the documents. And this is for the PM. You don't want your developers or designers coming to you every single day to request for these documents, right? So you have to put those documents here so that everyone can at least access those documents and get to understand what the team is working on. Okay. All right. Yeah. So remember, you can also customize or you can organize those documents and place them into multiple folders, right? So you can definitely do that. And yeah, when you delete some of those documents, it also goes into the archive. So let's see. I'm simply going to bring in a sample document. So let's first of all create a folder, and I'll call this product documents. So this folder would hold the list of documents describing the products as a whole. All right, so let's create the document. So let's create a folder, and so I have one folder in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in documents that are related to the product as a whole. So the PROD is an example. We don't have a PROD yet, but I'm going to assume we have a PROD. So let's go down to documents, and I'm going to simply search for PROD. I'm sure I should have an example PROD. So I have an example PROD. I just want to be sure. Oh, okay. I don't think I can work with that PROD. So I have a bunch of, I have a template in here. So that's a document. Okay, let's put that here. That's a document. So I think that can work. All right, so we are currently uploading that document and upload successful. Okay, so yeah, if I come back here, you see we have the PROD template. I don't know if we can open a docs document. Let's see if that would work. I mean, I doubt. I think if that document was in a PDF format, then yes, we should be able to open it. But unfortunately, it is not in a PDF format, so we would have to download the file, right? You would have to download the file. In most cases, yeah, I would definitely recommend you have PDF, files in here, or you can also create the PROD in here. I mean, you can do it somewhere, copy, and then you paste it in here. So I can say product requirements documents, and then you can have the PROD, written in here so that others can access that PROD directly inside this folder. So I think that is definitely a good way to, structure the set of documents you have. What else do you want to do? Basically, I think another thing you might want to do is to, have a different folder for the engineering documents, right? So you can have a folder for the engineering documents, and we can call this the functional requirements document, which is also the FRD. So instead of calling it this, I think we should just call this engineering documents. So this houses all engineering related documents. I think I should have software engineering here. All right. So if I create this folder, we can then create a new file. We can work with the text document, and we can call this the functional requirement document, right? So you can have that FROD in here. Yeah, so now we have, yeah, so we simply have, two folders, based on, you can have a different folder for marketing and all that. So I believe you get the point. And yeah, let's talk about, issues, right? So you're working on the project, and, you have, let's assume you conduct a sprint, right? You conduct a sprint, and after the sprint, you have a bunch of tasks. You can create this Kanban, right? So I'm going to show you. All right, so let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So I'm simply going to come down to the issue board, and I'm going to click on build an issue board. So on this issue board, it's going to give me like a board, and I can use that board to manage the tasks, right? So I'm going to create a board name. Let's assume we conducted we had a brainstorming session. Afterwards we decided to conduct what we call a sprint, and during the sprint we said, okay, we want to build like the booking, like a booking system, okay? And during the sprint we said, okay, the front-end guys or the UI guys, you would have to deliver on this, and that. The front-end guys would then, pick it up from there and deliver on, some other things. And the back-end guys would also have their, deliverables at the end of the day. So let's call this the booking system. So I'm simply going to call this booking, right? Let's just leave it at booking. All right, so we create a new board. We call that a board booking. And then the next thing I want to do is inside booking, we just create, let's call this sprint booking function sprint. Okay, so, and we want this sprint to last between 12 and 26. This was randomly selected, 15 days, which is 11 working days. I think this makes a lot of sense. So let's go ahead and create this. I'm sure you saw that you could also add something there called the sprint goal, right? Yeah, let's see how we can. I don't know if I can edit that, because I would have loved to edit it. Let's see. Let's go back to booking. Let's select that sprint. Let's see if I can edit the sprint. Yeah, so we can say at the end of this sprint, we should done with the booking features. And the QA team, which is the quality assurance team, would be able to test the platform booking feature. All right, so that's fine. Yeah, so this is basically what we want to achieve at the end of the sprint, right? So we have 11 working days to implement the sprint. Okay, so how do you go about organizing the sprint? Right now, you see we have 3 swim lanes. I will go down to the settings to show you some other things. So please, the PM guys, you really need to focus on this part, right? If I come down to the columns, okay, let's focus on the columns. You see we have different issue status, right? And the first status you see is the open issue, in progress issue, and done issue. So you can add more lanes if you want to. If you want to add maybe like, and I keep calling this the lane. This is the column. Sorry. So we can add. Yeah, let's call this open. Let's call this progress completed. Okay, and review. So let's assume we have a review. So we can assign a color to this, not required, but yeah. So this is result, a type of result. Someone said it's a bit similar to issues on GitHub. Yeah. I mean, for the developers using the GitHub project feature, it's similar, right? It's also similar to Trello, if, even Asana, if you've used some of these, it's basically regarded as a Kanban, some other tools, right? Yeah, well, that's basically what we are creating. I think we can come back to this. Basically, the swim lane is you have a different set of items that will show up. I will show you an example when we create yeah when we create some tasks. Okay, so we're going to create a task here. So you see, I can add like creation date, the due date, this set of items you're seeing here. But let's just create a task. So what I'm going to do right now is to create an issue, because I mean you have to create an issue to have that issue appear on the issue board. Okay, so let's create an issue, and this is a new issue. So I'm going to assign this to maybe like the UX, the UI UX issue. So I'm just going to say creates the wireframe, right? So the team should create. I don't know. I don't think I need a wireframe. So let's just say the booking UI. So I'm simply going to take this off and let's just go straight to the point. So I wanted to have multiple, multiple issues for the UI alone, but there's no need for that here. So the team should create the booking UI with the properties, right? The properties in the PRD. If there are any issues, I don't think that's even necessary. Of course, that's just an information. During the sprint, you'll be told that if there are any issues with the set of properties that are meant to go along with the booking, you should of course let us know. So as a UI guy, or as someone working in the UI team, you should understand that the final decision as to the properties that should appear on a form, maybe a form, for example, when trying to book for a session or book for an appointment, it's not made by you, right? It's a group effort, it's a collective effort. So you need to have the PMs, the UI, UX folks, and also the engineers, because there are some things that you don't even understand, or you don't even know that should go into this set of data. Of course, the engineers would know some of those type of data, maybe something like the date it was created, the last time the booking was updated. Some of this data happens to be very important. You don't need to put this data in the front end, right? But it's good you understand that these are the set of data that would go in, and you will have that on the PRD. So when you're doing your design, you don't just think off your head to say, okay, I believe we should have a date, we should have time, we should have this. Don't make assumptions. Ensure you're working based on what you have in the PRD, which is the product requirement document. So when creating this issue, if there is a file or an image, that you wish to attach, so that the person handling this issue would know what to do. Yeah, you can also drag and drop that in here, or you can click and probably select that file from your machine, from your laptop. So this is currently open, right? And we don't have anybody. I don't want to assign this to the old guys. These are the old folks on the platform. I think some of the new guys are here as well. All right, so we have the new guys showing up here as well. I think from team 2. Let's see, project team. Well, I think it's already a mix. I'm not sure. Well, I think yeah, it's a mix. Okay, so all right, so we can assign this to Amaka. Let's see, Amaka show up here. All right, and we can also set the due date. So I want this to be done before the 14th of October. We don't have any tag, of course. We don't have any tag here. There's no parent issue, so I think I shouldn't have clicked on that, right? Can I go back? All right, good. Okay, so yeah, so we want this to be on the booking board, right? And we don't want any checklist on this for now. So yeah, let's go ahead and create this. And I'm very sure, let's see. So I'm trying to see if it's possible to have, to assign this to multiple people. Because of course you can do that on, I think this will just take me to our profile, I guess. Well, okay, let's just create this first. So I'm simply going to create this, and you see I have it shown up here in the open section. And I still want to check if I can add more people. Oh, well, I doubt. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible to add more. Um, well, okay. I don't know. Manage custom field. Is it possible to create a custom field to accommodate multiple participants on one issue? I don't think so. All right, so let's just go back. Let's go back to the issue board. And yeah, you see we have our board, we have an issue. So basically this is an issue. If Amaka is working on this, what she would have to do when she starts working on this is to move this to progress, right? And after working on this, she would move this to done, right? So you can have a lot of issue, like a whole lot of issue. There's something also called the backlog. Yeah, I think I would also talk about that. But I'm trying not to really dive deep into this whole agile terms. So let's go back to, let's see. Okay, let's close the backlog for now. And yeah, I was also hoping to see the other section that we added to this. Unfortunately, I can't see that. So let me go back to the settings again. And let's see. Yeah, so I was thinking we added a column. Probably I did not save. I did not save it. So let's see review. Okay. All right. Save. Okay, let's come back to booking, and now we have review. So yeah, we could say when we are done with this, Amaka, drop this for review. So if you're done, drop this for review, and then you will have someone come down to check on that issue, understand what you've done, then probably review what you've done maybe on the Figma file or on the sketch file. Of course, you guys are working with Figma, so on the Figma file, if it's a code issue or a software issue, then the person would have the reviewer, in that context would have to, review your code basically, right? And of course, we'll get to code reviews. Let's talk about repositories. So, and I'm sure I hope you understood, what I've explained so far. If you have any question, drop your question in the chat because, I have the chat opened up on a different screen so I can see all the messages, coming into the chat. All right, so let's talk about repositories. Repositories is where you would attach the code base, right? You can decide to create a new repository within Space, right? So you can host your own repository within Space. You don't have to host it on GitHub. This would the repository would be within the Space, version control software, right? So yeah, you can create a new repository and call that would be a Space repository right here. You can also set up migrations from a previous repository to Space, and you can connect a repository. It's called a GitHub mirror. We have the GitHub mirror, so where you put in your URL, and then Space would act as a tool to act as a tool between GitHub and your repository, right? Your repository showing up here. Yeah, you can also have the external mirror. So let's assume you have your repository somewhere else. Maybe you have it on Bitbucket or you have it on GitLab. I'm sure this would solve that, right? So you can connect that mirror. You can connect that repository through the external mirror option into Space. Okay. Yeah, and when you're done, you just have to click on tests to ensure that everything works properly before you create that repository. Yeah, so for now we have two repositories in here. This is the Core 2.0 backend API. So I created this on GitHub already, and I connected this into the Space environment. Then we also have the front-end website repository, right? So yeah, so basically you can click on this repo. You can open this in your IDE if you have, if you have an IDE, if you're a developer. You can clone this, into your laptop, right? So I can choose to clone this, and I'm just going to show you an example. So let's go ahead and clone this using an HTTPS. So if you're not a developer, there's nothing wrong with what we're doing here. Basically, we have developers as well that needs to understand how to do this. So when you're on the project, basically what you have to do is to, yeah, let's move down to my desktop, and I'm simply going to clone that, right? So I'm going to say git clone. Okay, let's paste that URL in here, and it's asking for my credential. I don't know if I can even remember. Okay. Again, maybe I should work with always allow. All right, so I think that was my personal password. Just trying to verify that I'm trying to clone that from an app into my laptop. So I have that repository somewhere around here. Let's see. That repository is the core 2.0 backend, right? So I'm going to show you something. The way you work is definitely not something very complex. So I'm going to open this up in VS Code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a code, and then I'm going to push that really fast. I'm just simply going to add a single line of code, a single line of JavaScript code. I don't know, can I? Okay, fine. So without having to go through the stress of yeah, let's just go ahead and do main.js, and I will just say vi main.js. All right. Okay, so let's say console.log hello world. All right. So I have that file saved now, and I'm simply going to say git add. So let's see, okay, and git commits added console. All right, so what I'm putting in here is git push, but basically, always remember this, that before you can't just push to the repository. It's not your repository, right? I'm able to do this because I happen to be like, an admin, but yeah, I don't know. What I would advise that you do in your own context is, there's something called, forking the code, right? So you have to fork the code down to your laptop, right? So when you fork the code down to your laptop, you make those necessary changes, then you push to your own repository, right? I'm sorry, I meant forking the code into your own environment on GitHub. Then you clone the code to your laptop, right? You clone the forked copy. Then when you're done editing that code, you can push to your repository. Then you do what we call a pull request, right? If you don't know how to do all those stuff I just mentioned, I would show you, right? I would show you probably in the next class I have with you for the engineers. I will show you how to do that. But that is how you work on a group project, right? Because if you try to push to this repository, it's not going to work, right? You are not a member of that repository. What you do is, of course, it's public, right? But you can't just push directly to the repository. So you have to definitely make a pull request, and then we will receive that pull request and we would review your code. Okay. So if I select this repository right now, let's see what we have. Initial commit and added code to the main.js file. I can click on this, and you see this is the file that was edited, and then you see the code I just added. So this is showing up from GitHub. It's showing me this item within space, so I don't really have to go to GitHub. All right. Okay. So yeah, and I think you definitely understand what you're seeing here for the developers. Yeah, I think for the PM guys as well. Of course, you would you should be able to see what is happening in here, right? But you don't have to do anything here. Basically, the person trying to do code review would be the one to let's see. So I'll show you something right now. So when I click on code review, someone is going to come in here to make a new merge request. So I'm going to select, the branch. So let's say core 2 backend, the main branch. I only have one branch, of course. And basically, if you're trying to, do that merge, you're going to, of course, when you make a pull request, you are going to have like a branch created for you, of course. So if I am trying to merge, right, as the admin, if I am trying to merge, or any other person that will be in charge of merging, you're going to see multiple branches here. So let's see if I can yeah, so I'm going to see if I can just show you something. So I'm going to say git checkout. Let's check out dev, yeah, development. Let's call this Mav. I think I can say dash B Mav. All right, so within the Mav branch, I still have the previous code. I'm simply going to say touch new file.js, right? And in the new file, I'm simply going to say, let's see, new file. I'm simply going to say console.log. I just added a new file, okay? And yeah, let's save that. So I'm going to add this, git commits PM, added the new file, GitHub, auto the repository. Oh, yeah, that should have worked as well. Okay, so let's push this to the yeah. So let's push this. So it's going to ask me to change. I don't want to merge locally, right? I don't want to merge locally, so I'm simply going to change this to the new upstream and then push this. Okay, so I hope that worked. Updated. Okay, create a merge request. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead and click on new merge request. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm trying to merge Mav into main. So you see we have that, repository showing up here, right? So, and yeah, as the person performing this, merge request, I can simply just, change this and I say, okay, I'm assuming here that this guy did not put a very clean, comment or title, and I'll say, okay, I worked, let's say, worked on the new file.js feature and tested feature functionality. So let's leave it at that. Functionality. All right, nice. So I want someone to review my code, and let's say I want Mav to review my code. So of course, you're going to have multiple users in here, and you might ask someone to review your code. Most times you want to ask the supervisor, right? The supervisor to review your code. So for some reasons, I can't find my name because I am the one trying to request for that review. Yeah, let's see, Solomon. Okay, so yeah, so I can't really find my name, probably because I'm the one trying to create that review. So I'm just going to leave it this way, and I'll say create merge request. So when I create the merge request, we're going to have Amaka, review the changes. So if Amaka is logged in now, she's going to get that request, and she will be able to come on. Okay, so I think I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Let's come back here. Okay, so yeah, you see, we are waiting for a review from Amaka, and I'm sure when she gets this message, she's going to be like, "Marv, what is the meaning of this?" Okay, so yeah, so she's basically going to review that code, right? And submit that the review was, everything was fine. The code worked perfectly. The test is working as well. So we are good to go. So she would go ahead and merge the code. Okay, so basically that is what you should be doing, right? When you create a pull request as well, that is going to show up here, and we'll be able to merge. Yeah, we'll be able to merge the code. So just remember that after making that, after making that pull request, you definitely, want to let the supervisor know that you've made a pull request, so that you can go ahead. Don't make a pull request and keep quiet. Okay, make a pull request and let your supervisor know that, okay, I have a new pull request. Can you please go ahead and review my pull request so that your feature can be added to the main branch? That's basically how it works. And yeah, so we have jobs. Jobs here is basically, you are trying to automate something. So it's basically automation. You're trying to create a script that can automatically probably run some tests, or run some kind of script, just to check or just to verify some functionality, on your code. So we're not going to be working with jobs. Yeah, so I have basically not used jobs in here. This code base looks like Kotlin. Is this Kotlin? This is Kotlin. Okay, so this works with Kotlin script KTS. Let's leave this for now. We're not going to be touching this for now. And I'm also sure you can probably add more or use a different type of script. Um, let's just check out the development environment. So yeah, we can set up dev environments and allow the developers perform all the testing. Sorry. All right, so we can allow the developers perform the testing in here. We're not doing that. We're not using that feature at all right now. And finally, we also have deployment. So we're not using some of these features, right? So this is basically for CI/CD, as I mentioned earlier, for continuous integration and continuous testing. We're not using those features in here. Yeah, so I think the final one here is for packaging as well. We're not going to be using that, but of course, you can actually use Jetbrain Space, to package up your solutions, to deploy your solutions, to set up, tests and runners that can automatically check your code and validate if what was pushed or what was merged is functioning properly. So, of course, with time, you will learn how to use some of these tools. We're not using this on this project, so we're going to focus on code review, repository, the issue board, and the documents. And yeah, so of course, you can also chat. We have a chat feature in here, so you can drop a message to someone. You can send a message to me. I will definitely respond. But yeah, we also have Discord, so we're not really focusing on having those communications here. Instead, I think Discord is doing a good job for us, and we can stick to having those conversations on Discord. So that is all. We spent 1 hour talking about Jetbrain Space, and I hope you loved it. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask your questions. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be taking questions when I see a question in the chat. So I think that is all. So yeah, ask your questions, please. All right, so someone said, I can't find repositories on my account. Well, you would find the repositories on your account very soon, okay? So the feature is not available to just admins. I will add you to the project. You have not been added to the project yet, right? When I add you up to the project, then you will be able to see that feature show up, okay? Yeah, so that's for Damilade. So can we do live coding on the platform? No, you cannot do live coding on the platform. Okay, you can't do. I mean, you don't want to, right? I understand what you mean, like GitHub. You want to edit your code, or if you mean live coding, like sharing and coding, or sharing your screen and all that, you can't do that. The mobile app is not displaying all. Is that displacing, or you mean displaying all these features? Yeah, so please go ahead. You are definitely going to use the web app or the desktop app, so make sure you have that as well. And keep dropping your questions. I would take them in the next 2 minutes. Yeah. So I'll just leave you entertained for the next 2 minutes. I'll be back to take your questions. Go ahead and ask, drop your questions if you have any. I'll be back in 2 minutes, please.
comfortable seat. Just enjoy the atmosphere.
All right, so someone said, I believe the time we start using this app, we'll get to familiarize ourselves, and that is very correct, we will. I think I missed a question. Good evening. I might have missed it, but I want to know how UI UX can use this. I think we also explained that. So of course, everyone would have, there will be a task board, right? And on the task board, you're going to have multiple issues. So let's go back to the task board. So I'll click on the project. All right, so looking at this, we have an issue board. So for example, Taiwo Bello, let's assume Adebola on the PM track probably creates a task for you, like, based on the feedback gotten from your team lead, so let's assume we have a new issue and we'll say, okay, create login page, for example. So the auth login page. All right. Okay, so we have create the auth page and ensure you work with the design system. All right, so maybe you have some details, I don't know. So let's say this is an open issue and we assign this to, I don't know if you're currently here, but I'm going to see if we have Taiwo Bello, all right. And the date, I want this to be done on the 20th, for example. We don't have a parent issue. We want this on the booking board, right? And no, there's no checklist for this for now. So let's just say create. So we're going to have this issue assigned to Taiwo Bello, right? So when Taiwo Bello starts working on this, Taiwo Bello would come in here and say, okay, I am currently working on this, which shows that it's in progress. When you're done, you move this to done. So ensure you leave it here in done. Your team lead would be the one to come in here and say, okay, this is done. Let me confirm this on the Figma file. And when I'm done, okay, good. So this is really done. Let's keep this on the review for our supervisor to come in here and review. So all you have to do is ensure you use this to let us know what you've done and how far you've gone. So this is basically task management. Here we call it issues and the board. All right. So, but you might have used tools like Trello and the rest of them. It's basically called a Kanban, and you have your tasks, moving from one stage to the other. So, Taiwo Bello, that is how you would use this tool. And also remember, you have the document. So the PRD and the design system and all that. You have a reference to those documents. You have a reference to those stuff. So you have those references as documents in here, and you can always review them. You won't come down to Discord to ask us for PRD, right? I don't want to see such questions in there. Okay, you have those documents in here. All the documents you need will be in this particular location. I'm not saying you cannot ask others questions. What I'm saying is it doesn't make sense to ask questions when the answers to those questions are already provided in here. Okay, so I believe, let's see, it's a really nice application. It's practically doing everything in a single environment. Oh yeah, I also agree with that. But of course, I mean, it can always do more. So the desktop app size is showing 700 megabytes. And are you sure about that? I mean, I can't remember the size of this app when I downloaded it, but okay, let's see. Temporary space download. So I can't really remember if it was 700 megabytes, but I mean, that's a lot though. So let's see, macOS. It's 149 megabytes on a Mac. All right, let's see for the Windows. Come on, man, this is 62 megabytes. So probably you saw 70 and you're like 700. Man, Nigeria is difficult. Don't make it worse. Don't threaten people. Okay? Chris Foggy, it's 62 megabytes. So please chill. All right. So from Leon, sir, can the fork functionality for pull requests just like GitHub? Do we have it it's Jetbrain, it's not GetBrain, it's Jetbrain space. Okay. And yeah, I think your question is also a very nice question. If we can have it in here, well, remember that the pull request and the fork functionality, I don't know, I don't think you have it in here, but I'm going to check that. So let's go down to the repositories and let's see if we have, now I doubt if we, do we have that? Let's see. So I can see the branches, okay. Yeah, I don't think you have that functionality in here because you did not really connect your, GitHub here, your Git account here, right? So you definitely have to do that on GitHub, okay? You would have to do that on GitHub. Yeah, and I think it's not a big deal, doing that on GitHub. Yeah, so you definitely have to do that, on GitHub, right? All you have to do is when I click on clone, I should be able to, let's see. So I'm simply trying to get the, all right, I think we would actually share the repository with you as well. So you can actually go do that on GitHub. So that's the fork functionality would be on GitHub. So you have to do that from GitHub. Sorry about that, but yeah, I don't think you can do that from here. So basically what you can do is clone, and then, when you're done, you push. Yeah, so you can't do that from here. Okay, so it's 70 MB. Someone said don't download 700 MB of virus. Okay, I think, yeah, that's correct. I'm on the documents page at the moment, but can't see any. Yeah, you can't see any of the documents because you're not on the project. So don't worry. Some of the documents I created as well were in my profile. So I would definitely, by tomorrow, I believe you should be added to the project. It's a manual process, so relax, and you will find yourself on the project between now and weekend. Okay, so just chill, and you'll find yourself there. Okay, so I don't think any question is coming in. I'm going to spend just 3 minutes on this call. I have a call by 9:30, so you can hang out and listen to some cool musics, okay? Or you can go to bed. So someone is saying, I think I can see them. Oh, good for you. All right. So that was the end of the session. Have a wonderful night, guys, and I think we've reached the end of the session. So someone said we recorded the session for Jetbrain earlier. Yeah, I think we did, but that was not shared. And I asked my team not to share that particular recording because I think that recording, that class was held. I was in the hospital when I recorded that session, and I did not want you to have access to that session. Okay, so this new session will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, and you will have it on YouTube. So have a wonderful night, and goodbye.